Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of A Coffee with Chris, the social media show that helps you create impact. As always, brought to you in association with our charity partner, 𝗖𝗄𝗄, who help local people affected by cancer. And new for 2026, Game Plan Coffee, Paddy and Scott's special coffee partnership with the High Performance Foundation. Every single bag of this beauty you choose to buy helps support the work of the High Performance Foundation. They fund programs that help young people across the UK develop the mindset and tools to thrive in life, not just survive it. So if you're like me and you love your coffee, then make sure you grab yourself a bag today. I have been drinking it. I've got one on the go. As always, it is just perfect. Also, this podcast is sponsored by some brilliant businesses: Oliver Hill from Hill Coaching Company, Gemma Crane from Mindset HR, and of course, Callum Howard from Limitless Film and Media. Can't wait to talk to this guest today. He is a freelance presenter, producer, and content creator, 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗶𝘀. 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗶𝘀 is a presenter and social content creator who builds engaged communities through storytelling-led video, culture-driven content, and authentic social growth. 𝗖𝗵𝗿, welcome to A Coffee with Chris. I clearly need some more coffee. Why social media? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you so good at it?
Cool. That's a very, very interesting question. I think the answer to all of it is I don't know. But at the same time, that might just being humbled. I think for me, it's like I kind of fell into the sector. You and I kind of met each other about is it 10 years ago now? Might be even longer.
Yeah.
Where sort of we obviously Chris does Talk Norwich City. I ran a Chelsea channel and I worked on one. And I sort of off the back of that, I kind of just developed it and built it out and sort of like made some great contacts and stuff sort of from like 16 to 21. And then I kind of just ventured myself out on my own sort of things, kind of do some bits and bobs, try some different things. And I think why I enjoy it and why I do it is because I think that there's a lot of stuff out there which is, it follows a formula. It's the same as everyone else's. You see a trend on TikTok, you see a trend on Instagram, you use the audio. I'm like, great, that's all well and good, but what makes you different? And that's kind of where I kind of fell in love with the storytelling side of things. I mean, growing up, I used to watch 𝗄𝗶𝗁𝗲 and lots of like those football documentaries, which kind of told the cultural story of cities as well as the game and the politics. And I love that sort of stuff. I find it really interesting to sort of delve into cultures. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I fell in love with it. And I feel it's good to have those audiences where people are engaged rather than for the clips that are quite funny. For the people that are actually there, it tells you who they are. If it's a coffee shop, for example, you get to know the people who are building that business, who are doing different things, who, you know, have done things which are really, really good or really, really struggled, rather than just showing the entire journey, which is, this is how great we are. We sell this many cups of coffee. Isn't it great? Isn't it fantastic? We do sell this many cups of coffee. That's where it started. This is where we really struggled. This is now why we're doing really well. And to show that whole arc, I think, is really important, rather than what I think social media is known for now, which is just everyone posts about their wins, no one posts about their losses.
Do you know, you've already delved into some bits and pieces there, 𝗖𝗵𝗿. Thank you. I can't wait to tuck in more. I want to ask you, like, why do businesses struggle to build momentum on social media? Like, you've built tremendous momentum on the Bar Italia Soho socials. I'd love to learn kind of your thoughts and feelings around that.
So I think Bar Italia is an interesting case because it's a very old school business. So for people that don't know, it's been basically a bit of an institution. It's been in Soho since 1949. Same place, same spot. I mean, the people that go in there, it's amazing. But they didn't really have a grasp or an understanding of social or how important it is. And I think in the 21st century, especially, if you don't market through social, if you're still just doing flyers, if you're still just the newspaper, if you're still doing paper ads, you're just not going to grow. Because as much as they look great, I mean, I only pick up the copy of the Metro so I can use it for my dog later in the day. It's kind of, it's like, being very honest, I'll read it. It's great, but it's free. That's kind of what you get for it. That's not, I don't think you get the returns. And now, for example, with Bar Italia especially, they're seeing the returns. They're seeing, those maybe not so great influencers who want to talk about a flat white and don't actually understand coffee, going and talking about flat whites and sort of trying to judge them. You've got the people that maybe are better in like major outlets. So we've had sort of like off the back of our social campaigns, we've had The Observer, we've had Gentleman's Journal, we've had Apple, Netflix. Like people come in, sort of look at Bar Italia and do stuff. But it's kind of just off the back of like it's always been an institution. People have known about it, but people haven't also known about it.
Louis, I've got to interrupt you, my friend. Sorry, I need to ask you more about that, because this is something that people just see social often as this kind of wishy-washy top of funnel thing that you can do, and it's just a nice thing to do. But you've shared there already like the impact of bringing in like these massive organizations to come and check it out and see more. So how did you manage to achieve that through social media, and what would you advise other businesses to do what you've done?
So I very much leaned into the story. So like I said, I'm very fortunate to have this account, and I will always cherish it, because for me, sort of Bar Italia was a place I'd go to growing up with my dad and with my family, because in London, it was the meeting point for Italians. Before social media, you'd literally people would go there on a Sunday to watch the Italian football, to watch the Italian news. People would go there to sort of, if someone had died in the family or someone was born or whatever, that they'd go there to get the news. And it's a community spot. So what I did was I really leaned into that. And, I looked at the clientele that Bar Italia have had and how they run it as a family. And I just built on it. I think that a big one, obviously, on social, if you work in cafes or you work in hospitality, if Anthony Bourdain has something to say about your place, you don't stop talking about it. That's it's so simple and sounds so, it's trend driven content, but it's a trending story piece. So I've managed to find 3 or 4 pieces of content around Bourdain. One's done 1.2 million views, which kind of was the kicker for everything, really. And it's kind of a case of, you lean into the certain things, I'd say, which are great about your business. I mean, like I said, I think Bar Italia is a very, I don't think there's anything really like it in terms of coffee shops that I can think of, really. I mean, the Algeria coffee stores on Old Compton Street around the corner is probably another example of an institution in terms of when it comes to coffee in London. But if you look at it, I mean, great examples of that sort of thing and that sort of style of leaning into things. You got 𝗖𝗵𝗁𝗲 in Lambeth, for example. You've got the Regency Cafe. You've got Terry's Cafe in London as well. Bar Italia kind of fits into that category of an institution which has those famous faces. So I went through archive footage, so to build that audience and to sort of get to where it was, I've dug into like Kino Library, and I've gone through YouTube, and I've basically taken everything I could possibly find in regards to Bar Italia. So
Louis, what a great thing, by the way. So many people don't do that, and it's something that I advise my clients on. We're rolling out multiple campaigns at the minute. It's that nostalgia content. Everyone thinks about new and next and upcoming, but they don't reflect on the past. And you see it quite often that those campaigns work incredibly well, especially if this is for an established brand, an established business, a business with a great reputation that's been doing it for yonks. It's brilliant to roll out that nostalgia content. Louis, so just take me through this, right? So you get the green light, you take over the Bar Italia Soho social accounts, you log in. What's next? What are the starting steps that you would take people through that they can maybe do with their business socials to grow theirs like you've done?
So Bar Italia's case was they had an account which had basically been dormant for 3 years. So I was basically starting from zero, despite having 9.8 thousand followers. So, right, we're looking at this and seeing, I kind of went, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at, we'll use Instagram as the example, right? I looked at Instagram and went, right, what is the strongest style of content right now? Is it reels? Is it carousels? What's working? So I go, okay. Off the back of that, I went, let me do a post of what is the strongest performing piece of Bar Italia and a coffee outside. You're just going to have a coffee. I'm going to have a panini. I'm going to have a picture of the owner. Great. There's those 3. Right. Off we go. So I literally sat down and went, put that straight out. And I saw how it performed. The next thing I would do after that was I was straight into the analytics. That's the most important thing. It's where I think you find the vast majority of your audience on social. So my brief for 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲𝗲 was, we want to be up there with 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗁 in terms of visibility, and we want to have queues round the block. That was my brief. That was it. So I've gone, right, if that is what you want, play to your strengths. My biggest advice will always be just play to your strengths. And 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲𝗲's strengths is the nostalgia. People coming in there and sort of going, oh, well, this is where Pulp, I mean, they've done the different Class album. There is a song called 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲𝗲 on there. It's about 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲𝗲. So what the first thing I do, I went, right, let me go find 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗶𝘁𝗵𝗲, play in that live on a stage, right, click, out, straight. And it's straight away, it's like, did you know this? Did you know that? So if you're a small to medium business, but you have that history of this person used to come in here, we used to do this is what we've always been known for, lay out your foundation and then you build on it. Sort of have those did you know posts and the people talking about the place waxing lyrical. Those are the easiest wins, because it's UGC content.
Yes. Oh, I'm so pleased you said that. I'm so pleased you said UGC content, user generated content. For those of you that don't know, it's the most trusted content on social media. It's incredible, especially if you're a B2C business. You'd be crazy not to use UGC content. Really interesting stuff there, Louis. How do you strike the balance, my friend? Because you are operating the socials, you're growing the socials of an established, reputable, highly trusted business brand, and yet on social media often it's new, it's trends, and it's the more modern stuff. So how have you collided and meshed those two things together? Because I think many established businesses are concerned that you might make them maybe look not good by using the modern tools and techniques on social media. How have you managed to achieve that?
So I'm kind of a little bit old school still. If I'm doing it, there'll be certain tools I use, and I'll go, well, what's the image this brand wants to create? What's the history of it? And like I said, with 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲𝗲, I've been going there since I was a kid, so I know the culture of that business. Like I've been in there since I was in nappies, Chris. I've got 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲𝗲 and 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗁𝗲𝗲, which is the sister restaurant next door. That's open to 3 or 4 in the morning. I'd be going to the theatre with mum and dad. They go in there to see my cousin. I'll be shoved in the corner until 3 o'clock. So I know exactly how that place operates. So it's kind of a case of being able to go, okay, well, I think the most important thing is, if it's a heritage business, it's very simple. You look heritage, you look clean, you look polished. You don't need to lean into all the modern trends of minimalism and writing with a Sharpie on a metal table. It's like, yeah, that looks great, but does it fit the brand? Well, no, not really. So you need to sort of strike the balance of, I think, cleanliness and also having that heritage feel. This is in terms of just aesthetic alone. So the very first thing I did, so they were nominated for the best coffee shop in London, and they've won it for the past 5 years. So I did a post which was just them saying thank you for the nomination, but I did it in 6 different styles. So I just went, pick one, and that is what your style is going to be for the foreseeable. That is it. Tell me what you like, and we'll go from there. So off the back of that, I did the balances, I did whatever, I did the color grading, I tied it all in, and then obviously off the back of that, I had my image template. So I can kind of sit there and I can go, well, every single time I do something, if we're making original content, which we're looking to do more of now, I can then go, okay, well, I know what LUTs I'm going to use. I know how it's going to look. I understand how things have got to be seen and visibly created for the brand. So then off the back of that, they've got their culture in place. And every time you'll come onto the feed, you're going to see the same thing. You're going to know exactly what you're looking at. So, and with that as well, it means that everyone knows what's associated. I think 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲𝗲𝗲, I mean, if you look on Instagram, if you look on Google Images, the very first thing you see is the clock. Now, the clock's been there for yonks, but I don't even know what year it was installed, but it's been there a very, very long time, Chris. And it's kind of a case of they've got this red neon light, this green outline, this sort of like very sort of like warm glow. which you would associate with Soho in the evening, and sort of how it's sat. It's opposite Ronnie Scott's, so you've got that vibe. So with it being an institution, again, I will always say this: I am very lucky to be working with these guys and have so much to lean on. For newer businesses, yes, this might not be as relevant, but at the same time, you know what you're looking for, you know what you want to be. Lean into that. Appreciate who you are. Don't follow the crowd. Be your own thing. It might take a bit longer, but it took a bit longer with 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲, and then they've been there for 75 years, and they've got opposite them, they've got Cafe Nero, they've got Costa, they've got whatever. They've been gone. This place is still here.
I wonder if, Louis, so much gold in that, by the way. Thank you, my friend. I wonder if it's like a you yin and they yang, etc., right? And there's a situation of everyone is trying to pander to the algorithm and do like the next thing, the trend of the moment. But you've almost said, well, okay, that's okay, but I'm dealing with an established brand here, a heritage brand, one where we don't want to be perceived as that type of company. But I find it very interesting, Louis, that yet you've opted for that approach. You've lent into who they truly are, and yet you've still managed to grow the account substantially, which is refreshing, because many marketers would say, oh, you just need to do this and use that tool and do that new thing. But you've gone, well, okay, yeah, but they're all of the nice new things. But actually our audience, they might like just to flick through images. They might just like a long form post, they might, et cetera, et cetera. Right, I'm making it up now, but you get my point, Lou. It's quite an interesting thing that you've sorted out there. I'd love for you to divulge, Lou, if there's anything else that you've done in order to help grow the socials. Have you used any particular tags? What's your copy been like? Any videos that have worked particularly well?
So the nostalgia videos have been the best performers, like hands down, every time. I've done sort of like, what have you ever wondered what Soho was like in the 90s? I've just lifted a video which is walking out of 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲, and you're walking onto Frith Street, you're walking onto Old Compton Street, you're seeing obviously the gay bars at night, you're seeing the motorbikes out front, because there's certain things which 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲 is known for as well. So the best performers is I've just leaned into the audiences.
Yeah.
So there's a massive classic car community that come outside 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲. As the biker community, we've not leaned into as much, but that's purely because I've been asked not to. But you know, if there are some nice bikes, I'm going to be leaning into that as much as I can, because they're great and the bikers love it. And it's one of the last real biker spots in London. In terms of foodies, I think you kind of lean into the heritage of that. And it's sort of like, you know, 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲 was the first place in the UK to have a gadget coffee machine. It was the first place to sort of really bring coffee culture to London. So it's those sort of things which you lean into. So it's more of the hipster nerdy sort of stuff, which I really like to talk about. And in terms of my copy and hashtags, I have one hashtag. I never do, unless it's a campaign, I never do more than one. I literally do 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲. That's it.
Love it.
I don't, because hashtags don't work on Instagram anymore.
Yeah.
It's like I play the algorithm, but I play it by sort of going, well, how can I fit a heritage brand into what's the highest performing? Is it carousels? Is it reels? Is it reels? Okay, cool. I'll just put a load of reels.
Louis,
carousels.
I was holding my breath then when you mentioned hashtags. I thought, oh, he's not going to recommend using 35 hashtags at the end of a post, is he? But then you luckily said, no, I just use one brand one. I thought, oh, phew. Because for those of you that don't know, that are watching, tuning in, listening back, etc., stop using hashtags, especially on Instagram. Great for community discussions, events, big moments, trending topics. But now the way that social works is like SEO for social. So by just using words, your content can be found really easily. So I think that's something else to take away. Louis, what are the mistakes that people are making on social media for their businesses, their brands? And you go, oh no, oh no, oh no. If you could kind of list a few red flags for me, if you like, that would be brilliant.
Single images. I'm going to just use Instagram every time because it makes me sweat behind the knees. Single images. Don't use single images. It is a guaranteed hellhole, because you're not going to get any growth, and people don't stop anymore for images on social. You need to have more to it. If we do a carousel, the only reason I do a carousel, I do it on a Sunday every week, is because 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗲 has been tagged by loads of people that comes out of a coffee, or come to sit in there and look at where Kylie Minogue used to come in and have a coffee, where, you know, Aldo Zilli still comes in, where, you know, Antonio Di Natale comes in when he comes to London, Francis Ford Coppola. I was going, okay, cool. They've come to do this. I'll look at it. Is a picture cool enough? Is it somewhere I'd stop scrolling? Because I'm Bar Italia's target audience. I kind of know exactly what they want. And I go, yeah, I'd stop for that. And I pick. If it's a carousel, I do no more. If I'm really pushing it, if I really can't get the numbers down, I do no more than 10.
Yeah.
The max images you should do really is I top off at 7. Almost like for one for every day of the week. Because by the time you scrolled, usually by the 3rd or 4th image, people just aren't interested anymore. Unless you've got a call to action.
Brilliant stuff, Louis. And the takeaway for people there is that you create what's called dwell time on the feed. We want to create as much of that as possible. So once you grab someone's attention, you keep them trapped in terms of time by viewing more media. But then Louis is right, there's a balance, because you want to add enough media to keep people's attention, but not too much that they drop off at the back end of it. Really, really clever point there, Louis. If there's a business out there that's just posting single images, but it's of one product, well, why not take a picture of different angles? And even that would be better than just a single image. Great takeaway. Louis, keep going, my friend. You're on a roll. Sorry.
I've got that. I'd say, obviously, the multiple hashtags. Just don't do it. Please stop. Please stop. You're wasting your time and mine. Let's just not do it, because it's like it's not going to get you anywhere. I mean, those are the big ones for me, to be honest. Oh, yeah. And if you are doing images, don't do squares on Instagram. Don't just have it as a square image, because the big thing with Instagram, if you look at your phone, I mean, I'm literally going to pull up now. Let's go onto my Instagram. We'll go to Bar Italia's, actually. Let's do that. So you see on Bar Italia's, right? This is great. There's this guy, for example, who's done a video where it holds the audience. However, straight away, if you see it at the bottom,
yes,
people are already going to be looking to the next post.
Yeah.
If you do it where it's not what, if it's not square and it's more sort of 4x3, look, the next post isn't there. People are focused on it. Always focus on it. That's my big thing.
Louis,
always say that's what you should be doing.
Louis, that's so good. And that's such a small thing, but it makes a big difference, right? If you can just format your images in the right way, format your videos in the right way, make sure you've cropped things nicely, but making sure that they're portrait, not landscape. And actually then you can use those across all socials, because it does actually apply to all socials now, Louis, as well. We want to be prioritizing portrait over landscape images. It's almost like that TikTokification, that's a tongue twister, isn't it, of social media now, where we want it to be taking up as much feed as possible to, again, create that dwell time in the feed. Louis, this has been a brilliant chat, and we might have to try and get you to do another one, because there's been so much actionable advice in this. So thank you, my friend. Where can people find you, connect with you, do business with you?
So if you want to chat to me more about all this sort of stuff and working with your media teams, or even, because the other thing as well, as much as I'm a freelancer, if you've already got a media team, I'm very happy to work with people. I'm not coming in to take people's jobs, even if you, you know, that's another conversation for another day once you've had the first one. But I'd say if you want to reach out, speak to me on LinkedIn, just drop me a message there. My Instagram's always an easy place to find me. And if you want to do work with Bar Italia as well, because they're always looking to do more with brands, reach out to Bar Italia Soho on Instagram. I'd say those two are the biggest places to find me.
If it's great, Lou, and if you're in London, folks, go and visit Bar Italia Soho. Really incredible place to go. And Louis is obviously running the socials, so he'll definitely entice you there. Thank you once again for joining us, Louis. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thumbs you so much to everyone that's watched live, watching back, listening back. If you've enjoyed this Coffee with Chris with Louis Beneventi of Bar Italia Soho, then give it a thumbs up on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, 5-star reviews, comments, likes, shares, all of that stuff. Just do it all. And it helps me book more exciting, brilliant guests like Louis. Once again, thank you for tuning in. And I shall see you this time next week for another episode of A Coffee